In the annals of scientific history, few figures have reshaped human understanding as profoundly as Charles Robert Darwin. Born on February 12, 1809, in Shrewsbury, England, he transformed from a curious naturalist into the architect of evolutionary theory, a man whose ideas sparked one of the greatest intellectual revolutions of all time. His journey wasn't a straight path to glory, it was a tale of doubt, meticulous observation, and courage to challenge centuries-old beliefs. Darwin's early years were marked by an insatiable curiosity about the natural world. His father, Robert Warren Darwin, was a successful physician, while his mother, Susanna Wedgwood, came from a family of industrial innovators. After her death when Charles was 8, he was raised largely by his sisters and sent to Shrewsbury, where he showed little enthusiasm for classical studies. Instead, he collected beetles, studied rocks, and roamed the countryside, activities that hinted at his future vocation. In 1825, he enrolled at Edinburgh University to study medicine, but found surgery horrifying and lectures dull. It was there, however, that he encountered radical thinkers and began dissecting marine creatures, igniting his passion for natural history. Seeking a more stable career, Darwin transferred to Christ's College, Cambridge, intending to become an Anglican clergyman. Though he applied himself to theology, his true interests lay elsewhere. He befriended John Henslow, a botany professor who recognized Darwin's talent for observation. When Henslow recommended him for a position on the HMS Beagle in 1831, Darwin seized the opportunity. Despite his father's initial objections, this 5-year voyage would become the crucible of his life's work. As the Beagle's unofficial naturalist, Darwin collected specimens, recorded geological formations, and observed wildlife across South America, the Galápagos Islands, Australia, and Africa. His findings were staggering. Fossils. In Patagonia, he unearthed giant armadillo and sloth remains, suggesting species change over time. Galápagos finches. He noted subtle variations in beak shapes among island birds, hinting at adaptation. Geology. Witnessing volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, he embraced Charles Lyell's theory of gradual geological change. Diversity. From tropical rainforests to deserts, he documented nature's endless variations. By the voyages and in 1836, Darwin had amassed thousands of specimens and notebooks filled with observations. Back in England, he collaborated with experts to classify his finds, slowly realizing that traditional explanations for life's diversity were inadequate. Yet he hesitated to publish his emerging ideas. The concept of species evolving through natural processes conflicted with religious doctrine and scientific orthodoxy. For nearly 2 decades, Darwin refined his theory in private. He married his cousin, Emma Wedgwood, in 1839, finding in her a loving partner who supported his work despite their differing religious views. The couple had 10 children, and Darwin balanced family life with relentless research. He studied barnacles, pigeons, and orchids, seeking evidence for his hypothesis. In 1842, he drafted an initial sketch of natural selection, but only shared it with close colleagues like Joseph Hooker and Charles Lee. The turning point came in 1858 when Alfred Russell, a naturalist working in Southeast Asia, sent Darwin a manuscript outlining nearly identical ideas about evolution. Faced with the prospect of being overshadowed, Darwin agreed to a joint presentation of their work at the Linnean Society. Though the event drew little immediate attention, it propelled Darwin to publish his magnum opus. On November 4, 1859, On the Origin of Species appeared. Its full title, On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life, signaled its revolutionary premise. Species evolve through natural selection, where advantageous traits increase an organism's chances of survival and reproduction. Key concepts included variation, individuals within species differ in traits, competition, resources are limited, creating a struggle for existence, selection, Advantageous traits become more common over generations. Descent with modific. All life shares common ancestry, branching into new forms. The book sold out instantly, sparking fierce debates. Some scientists, like Thomas Huxley, embraced it, while clerics and traditionalists denounce it as an attack on biblical creation. Darwin, ever the careful researcher, responded with further evidence in The Descent of Man 1871 and The Expression of Antinomies, Moles 1872, extending his theory to human evolution. Despite the controversy, Darwin continued his studies from his home, Downhouse in Kent. He experimented with plant hybridization, studied earthworms, and corresponded with scientists worldwide. His health, however, declined. He suffered from chronic fatigue, digestive issues, and heart palpitations, likely aggravated by stress and a parasitic infection contracted during his travels. Yet his intellectual rigor never wavered. Key elements of his legacy include scientific creativity, replaced static views of life with the dynamic concept of evolution. Methodology, demonstrated the power of patient observation, data collection, and hypothesis testing. Interdisciplinary, influenced biology, anthropology, psychology, and even philosophy. Public engagement, wrote for both specialists and general readers, popularizing science. Ethical reflection, addressed human evolution with nuance, avoiding sensationalism. Institutional spurt, fostered scientific networks through correspondence and collaboration. Enduring relevance, his principles underpin modern genetics, ecology, and medicine. Darwin died on April 19, 1882, at age 73. Despite opposition from some religious groups, he received a state funeral and was buried in Westminster Abbey, a testament to his impact. His notebooks, letters, and specimens remain vital resources for researchers today. Modern science continues to build on his foundation. DNA studies have confirmed common ancestry, while evolutionary principles guide conservation efforts, disease research, and agricultural innovation. Yet Darwin's greatest contribution may be his approach, a willingness to question assumptions, follow evidence wherever it leads, and communicate complex ideas with clarity. Whether remembered for his Beagle voyage, his meticulous experiments, or his courage to publish Origin, Darwin's life illustrates that scientific progress requires not just brilliance, but also patience, humility, and moral courage. From a beetle collecting boy to the father of evolutionary biology, he left a legacy that continues to shape how we understand life on Earth and our place within it.